My fellow Amazonians, this is Dr. Cho Ayaba. Today is July 7, 2024, and this is my daily briefing. As I've said repeatedly, apologies for my voice, so don't bother about it. Just listen to the content of my message. I've said repeatedly, our struggle is on a very solid foundation. Very solid foundation. Our forces are indestructible. We are fighting the enemy in Mezam, which is one of the most densely populated state, Bamenda in particular, most densely populated city. We have fought them there for 7 years. That should tell us about the tenacity of our forces. We fight them at night. We fight them during the day. We impose rules like no number plate. It works. We impose rules like no yellow color taxi. It works. That shows you where authority lies. And we will disgrace every charlatan, every imposter, every colonial agent who does not speak for us, but for us, make laws for us. We will bring back self-government to the Amazonian people through our multi-layer strategies, self-defense, sovereignty projects like education, agriculture, health. We will gradually take back control, and we will not rely only on our forces. We will rely on many other strategies. We've been fighting them in Momo from the first day this war started. They have attacked us in Momo from every angle, using internal agents, external agents, tribalists. We have held our grounds. We've lost our Supreme General who was based in Momo. But we have a plan to gradually rebuild Momo and build a better relationship with our communities. But I also want to remind each and every one of you that this is war. It is not about emotions. We are in war because we care for our people. We are at war because we want to reclaim our land and establish a government for our people. A government that can be replaced by our people, makes laws on behalf of our people. That is why we are at war. That is the greatest testament of our love and care for our people. It is not about screaming about we like them. It is not about hugging them. It's about applying the medication that will treat the ailment that has plagued them for 61 years. Bui is the place where you go to die. The Amazonian Defense Forces and the ARF, they are very strong, well armed, and we are working very hard to make sure that we bring them together. I had a meeting with all of them the other day. I continue to work with the ADF forces, the ARF forces, independent forces across different parts of Amazonia to make sure that we reduce tension between them and that they see themselves as brothers and sisters, that they identify the one enemy we have, which is Cameroon. The progress is slow, always hampered by weaver birds and external actors who only survive when there is chaos. When there is peace, Amazonia prevails. When there is chaos, Cameroon, its agents and others, they prevail. That is why I rarely respond to them, because they want to bring me into a mud fight so that they can have a voice. Every Amazonia has a voice to alter the destiny of our people, to make sure that we expose the enemy and we destroy the enemy. In the Atlantic, there is fighting everywhere, in Fako, in Meme, in Kope, in Dian. Though our strength has weakened in certain areas, but sometimes the fighting we see in this area is a testament of the resilience of the Amazonian resistance. Our unique strategy, historically unique, that engulfs the 13th state, has no precedence. No liberation war has been fought like ours. All or most liberation wars have been fought from border towns and then they gradually moving. We have fought from inside because we lack a country at the border to back us up. And for over 7 years, this strategy has prevailed over La République's punitive actions. My fellow Ambazonians, we must understand the enemy we are fighting against. This is the enemy that goes around and burns our homes and butchers people. Just think about the Pinyin massacre, where it killed young male Ambazonians, burned their bodies, burned their bikes. The enemy has engaged in scorched earth policies where it leaves death and destruction in its wake. It fights with anger because it has believed it is the master of our destiny. It has never believed that one day their slave will rise up, not only asking for equal opportunities, but wanting to claim their land. That's why they are angry. You can understand also the elites of Amazonia, those entitled traitors who have been the middlemen and women between us and the slave master. They are not happy that the bricklayers, the carpenters, the people with no names have suddenly risen and they lock down the entire country on Mondays. They determine how things move in the cities. Do you think the likes of the Achidi and the Mundis and all of these traitors who have been unelected representative of the Amazonian people in the house of death in Yaoundé, do you think they will be happy? They will never be happy. Those who hold power resist change the most. And they resist it even fiercer when those fighting for freedom have never been recognized. So you can understand what we are up against. They will throw everything at us. Everything. Media propaganda will held our grounds. Media intoxication has been one of the strategies of the enemy. We have countered that with education, constant media presence, exposing them, showing how bankrupt they have become. As I said the last time, they owe so much money. Cameroon owes so much money that no matter the amount of money it makes, it uses it to pay only interest that it accrues on the debt it has. 44% of its GDP is used in paying interest in its debt. That's how bankrupt these bastards have been. They know the end is near for them. They know it. All these shenanigans they are playing in public is to play into your mind. They know the end is near. They know I know it because of what they are doing. I will not go further, but you must know that the destiny of Ambazonia is in our hands. It will not be shaped by playing platitude with La République du Cameroon. It will not be shaped by compromises or by being nice here, nice there. No. We must take a firm stance against these people for the crimes they've committed against us, against our country, for the attempt at dispossession, for humiliating us, for living, for making us to live in the 21st century as though we were 200 years ago. We must take a firm stance. My people, at the level of the international community, as I said the other day, we have convinced the international community on the merit of the Ambazonian struggle. We've convinced them that there is no precedence, there is no example in history of coexistence between a predominantly francophone, centrally managed, centrally controlled, teleguided state with an Anglo-Saxon state. There is no precedent, there is no country you can show in the world that you say coexist on the basis of a majority francophone state and a minority Anglo-Saxon. It doesn't exist. Secondly, we've convinced the world that there is no method, there is no internal arrangement that can be done between us and La République, because there is no example they can copy from. The French states are centrally managed states. Centrally managed. They don't recognize minorities. So they have been grappling since 1961 on what model of form of state they can institute that still gives them the kind of power over us. It does not exist. Whether they call it a unity state, whether they call it federal state, whether they call it provincial state, whether they call it regional or they call it special status, all of this experiment is because there is no existing model that coexistence can be anchored in. It does not exist. It will never exist. Francophone states don't coexist. They only dominate. Lastly, take note. Cameroon will not survive with even a federation. Our culture will eliminate them from the face of the earth. It will eliminate the tyranny that exists in them. It will eliminate the centrally controlled system. That is why the Central African states only survive, because there is no model around them that is an example for them to copy. If you will move Cameroon and you put it around, maybe around Ghana, it will collapse, because they will see an example of a transition, change of government, though not perfect, and they will rise up. There is no example around them. So what we are fighting for is something we already have. What we are fighting against is something that we must eliminate if we want to survive. Cameroon itself will collapse, as I have said. So the international community is well briefed on the merit of our struggle, the justness of our struggle, the socio-economic and political foundation upon which our struggle is anchored, and upon which the vision which we fight to institute is anchored. As I have said, in the past 7 years, we have been telling you what we are fighting against. We are fighting against occupation. We are fighting against colonialism. We are fighting against Cameroon. But what are we really fighting for? My people, we have put together one of the best programs which will be unveiled to you in the coming weeks. What we are fighting for at both the political level of economics, social strata, social system, the kind of educational system, its merit in the 21st century, how we are going to transform our country. We have put that and will unveil that to you. You can't live in a country that is so rich that it can pay everybody salary without going to work for the next 10 years. You don't have an international airport. You cannot develop your economy when you get up in the morning, there is no light. In the afternoon, there is no light. In the 21st century, where you can sit there in Bamenda and perform a service in Victoria, you don't have internet. We need to overhaul the infrastructure of Amazonia and prepare it for modernization. Prepare it to give you the kind of opportunities that we are fighting and dying for. They are scared because they know within a twinkle of an eye we will power every home. Every home will have electricity. You don't even need to pay for the first 5 years, because we can accumulate enough money from big companies that will be using massive energy to be able to subsidize energy in homes. You know that everybody will have a roof over their head because we have the materials. You come here in Norway, you find eucalyptus trees is everywhere, and we have it. We have what it takes. Even the mud that we have in the savannah in building homes. 90% of homes in Norway are with plank houses. Where when you live in Victoria, you have a plank house, you think you are poor. I live in a plank house here. You go to Washington, you must have plank houses. Because the bastards there have made us to believe that, their life is tailored towards France, and everything must be a reflection of the Francophone dominant, archaic, mundane culture. Have faith in Project Ambazonia. Have faith in our country. Have faith in yourself. Your life cannot be reduced to that of begging, to living like a slave in the country of your birth, because gangsters from a neighboring country invaded you and they've turned you into slaves to the point where you see your own life as a reflection of their own life. Ambazonia is endowed. It has not been destroyed from time immemorial. As we have stated, the culture of resistance is not born in the last 7 years. Culture of resistance is 130 years old. We have rejected foreign domination from the 1800s. So it is not now that we started fighting. They've defeated us in many battles. We've risen to fight again. This is the last battle we will fight. As we've said, change your taxi color. We will not have the time to stop you and be asking the question, because as I showed you the other day, the enemy has been boarding taxis and going around. So when our soldiers have been instructed, we'll take you out from a distance, 100 meters, if you are driving yellow taxi. Our population should not get into those taxis. We are grateful for the over 90% of people who have followed this order. As we say in our struggle language, the SDO will know who is in charge. As Paata Sang said in his famous speech, we will know by Monday, who is in charge. We will humiliate these people. And we have told him, the colonial SDO, if he know his man boy, let him take a yellow vehicle and drive inside that town. If you know his man boy, Nyamfuka, you enter our country, you want to play God over us. You give us nothing other than death and destruction. Destroy our roads and take over our institutions, create fake banks where, it's siphon money from our people. You've refused every opportunity from 1961 for dialogue. You believe you can create military bases in Monkey Hill, Manawa Bay. Each time students want to do small protests, you bring the army and kill people. Nobody ever holds you accountable. Because our forebears said, oh no, you cannot also carry rifles. These people have refused meaningful changes, even to see us oversee our GCE. No. Let us control our schools. No. Our courts. No. You kidnap our people, lock them up even in your jails that you've created in Ambazonia. You ship them to your capital to show that you are powerful. Who tolerates this kind of people? Who tolerates this kind of people? These people take us for what? I encourage all of you to be resilient. Pay your liberation tax. Everyone, pay your liberation tax. I'm glad with what I'm seeing. The past few days, what I have seen. If you see, you will thank our forces. We are arming. We are arming ourselves. And better days are ahead. Go through the pain of the moment, knowing that it's temporal. You surrender, the pain will be permanent. And you will transfer it to the next generation.